Welcome back to the Forgive Yourself podcast. I'm your host, Brenda Reese. Today, we are talking about something that, well, it kind of gets talked about, but I don't think it gets talked about nearly enough. And that is the ability to receive and why it can feel so hard. I know we talk about it, but I haven't really heard a lot of solutions or people feeling like they can receive now. Like I hear a lot that they are trying to receive, but that they keep what they say falling backwards. Okay. Now, for many of us, especially high achieving women, high functioning women, giving feels normal, right? Okay. We give our time, we give our energy, we give our care, we give our attention, we give our support. But receiving? That's where things can start to feel a little uncomfortable. And it's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's often because somewhere along the way, receiving did not feel safe. If you grew up in environments where love and attention or approval felt, let's call it inconsistent, or where you had to earn your worth, or where being vulnerable didn't feel supported, right? Our emotions weren't supported, our thoughts, our feelings weren't supported. Then our nervous systems learned something very important. It's safer to give than to receive. Because, get this, receiving requires openness. It requires us to allow ourselves to be seen. And at its core, receiving is vulnerable. And when we layer in these past experiences, if we layer in trauma or relational wounds, right? Because this comes from relationships, it makes sense that receiving can feel unfamiliar and very uncomfortable. Now, did you know that this doesn't just stay in our personal life, right? This receiving. It shows up everywhere. It's not just receiving compliments. It's not just one area. And this is where, when I was learning this about how we do anything is how we do everything, because that took me a while to figure out. But this shows up not just receiving compliments or not just doing it ourselves. It shows up in our relationships. It shows up in our work. It shows up in your business. Even in your ability to fully receive success, opportunities, or financial growth. Okay? Let's say that again. It's showing up everywhere in our relationships, our work, our business, and even in our ability to fully receive success, opportunities, or financial growth. Okay, this looks like I mentioned, brushing off compliments, saying, it was nothing, when that's not really true. Overgiving, so you don't feel like you owe anyone anything. Feeling uncomfortable when someone does something kind for you. You know, you're worth kindness. Or even holding yourself back from fully stepping into opportunities. Okay, that shows up a lot in the women that I work with. And yeah, this can even affect your ability to receive in your business. It affects the clients, the sales, and the recognition. Okay, how many of you, just as an example, you know, when somebody says, whoa, you look really nice today. I love that dress. Oh, you know, I've had this for a while. Or, oh, I got it at the bargain basement. Or I got it at Nordstrom Rack. Or I got it. You know, we have to justify it. Or if somebody says, wow, I love this car. Oh, well, and we go and we explain it because we feel uncomfortable. I remember when I met Doug, my husband, and he would give me nice things. Now, I was working on it at the time, right? Because after my third divorce, I had decided that, okay, I'm the common denominator. So I got to change because there were some things said to me. I was taking care of everybody else and I was exhausted. But I remember this one guy I was dating said, God, can't you just sit down for a second? And, you know, I can do this myself. because I had developed a habit of taking care of even the men in my life, right? Not only kids, but men. And so I would make sure everybody else was served before me. And I remember when Doug said to me, do you feel worthy of receiving nice things? Because he had noticed that I was hesitant when he would give me a gift, even flowers. And so it was a really good eye opener, okay, for me. And the one thing that I really remember was, so I'd been working on it. We've been together a couple years. And when he proposed and gave me the ring, I felt uncomfortable because it was a bigger diamond than I'd ever been used to. And I felt myself covering it up. Now I loved it, but I felt myself covering it up. So I've come a long way since then, but in receiving, yet I think that was a really insightful question on his part. Brenda, do you feel worthy to receive nice things? Now that's an external validation, right? It's an external expression of my internal world. Let's keep going because I want to talk about this. So when we have an inability, right, to receive, like we're brushing off compliments, we're doing all this, and it's affecting our business, it's affecting our life. The root of this is just what Doug asked me. And this is what we can ask ourselves. Am I really allowed to receive? Or do I feel really worthy to receive? That's a good one. And that's something that's, of course, 13 years later, it still has stuck with me. And I still hesitate sometimes. And I ask myself that same question, which really helps a lot. So here's what I'd like you to hear with all of this. You already have the ability to build something lasting, right? You already have the competence. You already have the experience and the wisdom. As far as our business is concerned, as far as our life experience, as far as what we have to share. And when we begin to trust in that, that becomes our foundation of worthiness. It becomes our foundation of sharing of who we are. And then this foundation becomes unshakable, not because everybody outside of you is perfect or everything outside of you is perfect, but because you stop questioning whether you are deserving or worthy. The more you allow yourself to notice when you get moments of recognition, like the compliments or at work or clients or someone says anything to you, when you allow yourself to notice these moments where you feel capable, these moments where someone reflects something positive back to you, the stronger that foundation becomes. And this is what it looks like to give yourself permission to stand fully in who you are without those old doubts, wherever those doubts came from, because they came from somewhere. You weren't born thinking, I'm not worthy of this. I don't look good. You weren't born like that. Now, if you're like me, it took a while, like I talked about, to realize that changes don't have to be huge. That we can take actually smaller steps, right? And that's what I had to do in learning to receive. Okay. With Doug, he really helped me to start to really understand how I am worthy just because I am. Okay. So this means that receiving doesn't have to be big. It starts in really small, everyday moments. Okay. Like when someone gives you a compliment, I repeat myself on this because that's a really great place to start, because we shy away. Ladies, I know you do. We shy away from this. And instead of minimizing it, you just simply say, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And there's these other moments, the compliment, when someone holds the door for you, let them hold the door for you. and say thank you. When someone lets you go ahead in line, right? If you're at the grocery store or if you're standing in the coffee line. Yeah. If do it, say thank you. When someone offers you help. Now I know that, that's a whole nother podcast episode right here. But when someone offers to help you, let them say thank you. When someone sends you a kind message, don't say anything else. Don't minimize. Don't expand. Just thank you. When someone acknowledges your work, thank you. When someone gives you their time, their attention, or their presence, the energy of gratitude will be felt everywhere. These, my friend, are all moments of receiving. And here's something that you can gently try. If you pause just for a moment when it happens and say to yourself, this is because, or this is happening because of who I am. Okay? That's not selfish. It's not egotistical. It just is acknowledging that you are worthy. Not because you earned it, not because you had to prove something, because hello, that's what we all think we need to do. We all think to get a compliment or to get any kind of praise or recognition that we have to earn it. What if we don't? What if it's just because of who you are? So when you allow yourself to do this, you can notice what happens in your body, right? When you just say, wow, I am willing to believe this is happening because of who I am. Okay, even start there. I am willing to believe instead of, wow, this is happening because of who I am, because sometimes that's a big jump for us. Notice what happens in your body. Are you standing taller? Do you feel a little lighter, a little happier? Does a little smile come across your face? Do you feel a little bit more grounded in your body? Maybe not so rushed. Do you speak a little bit more clearly, a little bit more confidently? This is the shift we are looking for. Just notice. Okay. Now, how do we get there though? Because this place of not feeling comfortable with receiving, that came from somewhere. So let's talk about that for a second. A big part of this, as we know, as we are aware, is our nervous system. If your nervous system isn't used to receiving, it may interpret this as, well, more than likely, unfamiliar or, it's uncomfortable, but mainly it's unfamiliar. And remember, to our nervous system, unfamiliar can feel unsafe. But let's gently go a little deeper into why this is. Our nervous system is always scanning for safety. I don't know about you, but I grew up in an environment where I learned to be hypervigilant. Now, this isn't always based on what's logically true today, right? Our nervous system scanning for safety. It's not based on what's logically true today, but based on what it learned in the past. So if at some point in your life, receiving came with strings attached, receiving led to disappointment, receiving made you feel exposed or judged, or receiving wasn't consistent, or maybe you only received when you performed, achieved, or proved your worth. Or like me, being seen, right? Which can be interpreted as receiving. Being seen led to criticism, disappointment, and especially emotional and physical pain, right? Because of my history with abuse. So if any of that happened, then your body learned it's safer to stay in control. It's safer just to give. It's safer to not have any needs. Because when you're the one giving, you're in charge. You're not vulnerable. You're not waiting. You're not risking being let down. But receiving, that requires you to soften, to open, to allow. And for a nervous system that has learned to protect you, that can feel like stepping into the unknown. Who likes that, right? Even something as simple as a compliment can feel activating. You notice yourself deflecting it, minimizing it, joking it away. That's a big one. Or immediately giving something back. Oh, wow. Well, I really like your outfit too. Where did you get that? Right? Instead of just receiving. And it's not because you don't want to receive the compliment. It's because your body doesn't quite know how to hold it yet. And this is where compassion is so important, because this is not a mindset issue. This is your body doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect you. So instead of forcing yourself to receive more, we gently teach the body that it's safe to receive. Safe to receive attention. Safe to receive support. Safe to receive kindness. Safe to receive success. And we do that through small, consistent experiences, through pausing, through noticing, through allowing just a little more than you did before. This is how safety is built, not all at once, but moment by moment. So before we move into a few simple things to begin opening to receiving, I would like to invite you into just a gentle moment of reflection. This is just about noticing. So when something is offered to you, like kindness or support or a compliment, what happens inside of you? Do you open to it? Or does your body tighten? Do you deflect or move away from it? And without judging yourself, this is not about judgment. Remember, we are just noticing what feels unfamiliar. What are the thoughts that comes up? What is a memory that happens? Is it my shoulders, my gut? Do I kind of fold inward? So what feels familiar? What feels unfamiliar? Or maybe what feels a little even unsafe about receiving? And I want you to not judge it. I want you to trust what comes to mind. So now, let's talk about a few gentle ways to begin practicing this. Small steps. I know, ladies, when we got a lot going on and we pride ourselves in getting shit done, we have to learn to slow down. We have to learn to soften just a little bit, because we can be causing our own suffering sometimes, and we get to take responsibility for that. So let's start. Let's see what resonates with you. And then I'm going to encourage you to start at least one of these little practices this week. All right. The first one, having a receiving journal. Even note the notepad on your phone. Okay. At the end of your day, write down moments where you receive something: a compliment, a smile. You know how many times that if you're out and about, people smile at you? I try to smile at people whenever I can. And that is receiving a smile from somebody you don't even know. So a compliment, a smile, an opportunity, a kind gesture, because we can write these off. We don't think about them because we are so busy, like 5 steps ahead, that we're not even noticing that we have opportunities to receive all the time. So in your receiving journal, write that down and then ask yourself, how did it feel to receive that? Awkward? Comfortable? Neutral? There's no right answer. But just the act of noticing it and writing it down helps your nervous system begin to recognize that it's okay to receive. You're not making it bad. Now, the second one is receiving through our senses. And this can be a little harder because it's asking you to slow down, even for a moment. So just try this. This is practice receiving without needing to do anything. Watch a sunset. Take a few moments. I did that the other day out of my bedroom window when it's nice here in Washington State. And I was rushing through the bedroom and I went, oh, is I caught the sunset out the window and I stopped and I just watched it. And my body felt different. Okay. Another practice would be enjoy a meal without multitasking. Whew, I know that's asking for a lot. Sip your coffee or tea slowly. Just take a moment, step outside if it's not, weather, of course, allowing, but take that for just a moment or just sit in a chair, just 1 minute. That's all. Our nervous system is just asking us just to pay attention. You can sit quietly and listen to the sounds around you. Now, these are all using our senses, right? Our taste, our smell, our touch. Notice a scent or a breeze. Just a moment of stillness. What do you hear? Receiving can be as simple as allowing yourself to experience something fully, even for a moment, even in the car. Now, the third one is gentle reminders, and I use this because I have to be reminded to slow down. Place a reminder where you're going to see it, like on your mirror. I do it in my car, on your phone. It can be as simple as writing a little Post-it note, right? Be open to receive, or maybe your screen saver, right? Or you can even put a compliment on there that you received. This is not selfish at all. This is someone seeing who you are, and we get to learn to allow that. Because sometimes we can't see it ourselves, but we can see it through someone else's eyes. That's the beauty of relationships, right? And we can let this become familiar. Now, the fourth one is set an intention, just a tiny one. Each time you go out, just have this intention. I'm going to notice one moment of receiving today. That's it. A smile, a kindness, an acknowledgement. We're not trying to change everything. We're just opening the door. Okay? So these are just 4 little ways that you can start taking small steps. Okay? So just practice one of them today. Just practice one. Okay? The first one was the receiving journal. The second one was just taking a moment and receiving through your senses. The third one was a gentle reminder, right? Put a Post-it note somewhere. And the fourth one was set a tiny intention that I'm just going to notice one thing. Okay? Then you can write it in your journal if you feel that. As we close today, I want to leave you with this. Receiving is not something you have to earn. It's something you learn to allow. Okay? Receiving is not something you have to earn. It's something you allow. And the more you allow it, the more natural it begins to feel. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really like our time together. Can I ask you a favor? If this resonated with you, would you mind sharing it with someone, that you think might need this message? Because I really want to encourage us all to really know our worth, to know that we matter. And we all have it. We're not alone. And always keep in mind, if you're feeling called to go deeper in your own work or your own search inside yourself, to truly step into your self-trust, your worth, and your ability to receive, I'd love to support you. So you can reach out to me by email at brenda@brendareiscoaching.com. It's REISS. Or you can go to my website and click on the link there to schedule a call. And we can just chat to see what it is you're looking for, and we can explore together what it is that would be great for your next step. And until next time, my friend, be gentle with yourself. Know that you matter. And just practice a little bit of receiving. Take care. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy it, would you do me a favor and share this episode and then follow us on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss one episode of the Forgive Yourself podcast, where every Friday you will get tips, tools, and stories so that you can turn your pain into peace. Take care.